For several nights running in London and other British cities, young people burned cars and buildings, looted stores, and fought with police. The riots broke out after a still unresolved shooting by police in a poor North London neighborhood. But that was just the spark. Many Londoners initially assumed the violence was a backlash from chronic unemployment, slow economic recovery, and cuts to public service spending by the country's new government. But there were no slogans, no chanting, no demands, and it soon became clear to many that this was something different. Geography professor Chris Hamnett of King's College lives in North London, not far from some of the worst rioting.
Essentially what we've seen is rioting for fun and profit. This is not people expressing their anger against an oppressive state. This is people thinking it would be nice to get a slice of the action.
The riots were concentrated in neighborhoods with large African and Caribbean populations, which have a history of tension with police. Professor Hamnett says those Londoners generally have less education, more unemployment, and higher crime rates than other Britons.
There's a racial dimension to the rioting and the looting, but it's not one of racial oppression. But there is undoubtedly a quite strong class and economic element.
Not far from the professor's house, police stood guard as crews worked to clean up the damage from the previous night's rioting. Basani Mabyalane lives in the neighborhood.
I feel there could more that can be done to empower the young people, because from what I saw yesterday, to me it looked like they don't have much to do. They have got the time, they've got the energy, but they are using that energy on negative things.
In the North London neighborhood of Haringey, some young people are trying to do something positive through a group called HYPE, Haringey's Young People Empowered. One of them is Erica Lopez.
To be honest, I think at the moment it's mainly to do with looting. A majority of people are just looting to loot with no reason, just because they want to do it. Simple as that.
Lopez says she does not condone the violence, but understands and shares the pent-up anger many of her young neighbors feel about a lack of job opportunities and cuts in government funding to youth services.
So I think that's the main issue. Like, the government really needs to actually take time and listen to these young people, because for a long time they have been crying in silence, saying this is what matters to me. Like, they have really been crying for a long time.
But on Wednesday, after cutting short his vacation, meeting with police officers and chairing 2 emergency government meetings to deal with the unrest, British Prime Minister David Cameron was not showing any sympathy toward those who engaged in violence and looting. He attributed the unrest to selfishness, lack of responsibility, poor discipline in schools, and bad parenting.
For too long, there's been a lack of focus on the complete lack of respect shown by these groups of thugs. I'm clear that they are in no way representative of the vast majority of young people in our country who despise them, frankly, as much as the rest of us do. But there are pockets of our society that are not just broken, but frankly sick.
Cameron promised tougher police tactics, harsh punishment for those convicted of crimes during the riots, and that looters caught on film, whose pictures have been published online and in British newspapers, would be arrested and prosecuted. Officials are determined to regain control regardless of the reasons for the violence. Pessin, VOA News, London.